And the Biden administration is blaming Russia for the spike in Thanksgiving dinner costs this year. In a new memo, the Department of Agriculture says that Russia's ongoing war on Ukraine and drought across the United States is the reason that the Thanksgiving staples are seeing increased costs, and this will be one of the most expensive Thanksgivings for American families on record. The administration this is the first time, it is not the first time, rather, that the administration is passing the buck to Vladimir Putin, of course. Watch.
70% of the increase in prices in March came from Putin's price hike in gasoline. We could have turned a blind eye to Putin's murderous ways. The price of gas wouldn't have spiked the way it has. I was able to bring gasoline down well over $1.60, but it's inching up because of what the Russians and the Saudis just did.
The average cost of Thanksgiving dinner, of course, is up 20% compared to last year, and we know that the root cause of inflation begins with the COVID relief package signed into law in March of 2021. When Joe Biden walked into the White House, inflation was at 1.4%. Joining the conversation all morning long this morning is Kathryn Rooney Vera and Rob Astorino. Kathryn, your reaction as we see inflation at 7.7% this morning after 1.4% when President Biden began his tenure. You think it's peaking, though, however, right?
Laying the blame on Putin is an insult to our intelligence, and inflation, it comes from a fiscal deficit that you mentioned, Maria, during COVID, that we signed multiple trillions of dollars of stimulus packages into effect, which later simply became complete social spending, massive social spending. We're talking fiscal deficits of 12% of GDP. On top of that, we had monetary policy that took the balance sheet, the Federal Reserve buying up bonds after, trillions of dollars of bonds, taking us to $9 trillion, 30% of GDP. So we've had massive onslaughts of fiscal and monetary stimuli. And at the same time, Biden has handicapped our own oil production, by first thing closing down pipelines, cooling off the production. Instead of importing it from our friendly neighbor in the north, Canada, now we're coming, as you've said, hat in hand to Saudi Arabia, Iran, Venezuela, all of our enemies. So actually it's the complete opposite. Oil prices are higher because we've handicapped ourselves and we've restricted our own production.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, and Americans are facing record prices this Thanksgiving. Rob, President Biden is goofing off with the newly pardoned White House turkey. Here's what he did yesterday. Watch.
How many turkeys you got down there you raising?
Circle S Ranch grows about 9.5 million turkeys a year.
God love you. 9.5 million turkeys. I tell you what, that's like some of the countries I've been to. Anyway, do you want to talk?
Yeah, the president also falsely claimed that his home state of Delaware has the most chickens in the country, Rob. That's absolutely not true.
Well, you know what? When he grew up with Corn Pop in a Puerto Rican neighborhood, he saw chickens everywhere. And so, it is kind of laughable. And Joe Biden is the best when he's just acting kind of goofy, I guess. But the scary part is his goofy policies have us in a rut in this country. And, used to be the dog ate my homework. That was like the greatest excuse. Now it's Russia. Anything that you need to get out of, anything you need to blame, it's Russia. Because Russia has our southern border open. Russia's bringing the fentanyl into this country. Russia is forcing Congress to spend all this money. So it must be great to be Joe Biden in his world and just blame Russia.
Yeah, that's right. Inflation is hitting Thanksgiving, and unfortunately, we are all paying for it, and he's blaming Russia. Much more ahead this morning. Coming up, futures on the rise. We are